Welcome back, Cincinnati Bengals fans, to Run It Through the Jungle, your roaring reactions and coach's cliff notes. I am joined by the fellas Tim Lyons and Chase Younts. What's up, good gentlemen?
What up? What up?
How we doing?
The fourth in the army, Mr. Lacey, Justin Lacey, is downtown right now, probably having a soda pop or two, enjoying himself, enjoying that big win.
A lot of sodas, huh?
And I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
Love it.
Good win. Good win. Again, we're here we go again. Back-to-back weeks, we see a backup quarterback put up over 30 points against playoff teams. Not doing it against a 2-10 team or anything of that nature. Playing some pretty decent competition and putting up some good points. Tim, what's your first reaction about the game today?
I was impressed with when they came out there the second half and they just kept going and kept moving that ball, kept running the football. You know, they ran the ball for 32 times. I was excited. Come on, I love the run game. It pumped me up. And then that defense, Trey Hendrickson. Oh my goodness, he's a pit bull out there, just looking for lunch, looking for that raw meat.
Yeah, I agree. I tell you, I don't count the rushes by the quarterback. You're counting the total rushes, which was 3 of them were Browning going out. But again,
yeah,
I think that we over 20 times running the ball with running backs. That seems to be the benchmark, and I mean, this show has clamored for it all year long. And when you look
the damn ball,
yeah, and when you look at those other teams, now granted, Zach Moss was not able to get anything going early on us,
right?
But still only gave them the ball 13 times. That's a commitment. You have to make a commitment to the ball, the running the ball. You have to just, hey, I'm going to get this guy 18 carries no matter what it does. I don't think that they were too far out of the game, going into the fourth quarter, really to even stop having your game plan. And with us we went in giving up the most yards per game in the NFL to the running backs. To the run. I just don't understand why you wouldn't continue to do that. But hey, glad they didn't. Chase, what was your biggest takeaways from the game?
Hey, before I get into that, man, glad to be back on here. It's been a minute since I've been on here with you guys. These guys have been doing some awesome things over here. But just to look at the game, which was also pretty exhilarating to say the least for us Bengals fans. We'll talk about this guy later on, but he shares the same name as myself, Chase Brown. I mean, I know in the run game, 8 for 25. I mean, all right, that's fine, 3 yards a carry. But just seeing the pop and versatility he had, also in the passing game, he had obviously the opening touchdown of the game. Just the ability to run, setting up the screens in certain spots on 2nd and 6, on 2nd and 4. Zac Taylor was in his bag trying to get the scheme game, the screen game going and the schematics of that. And then a couple of other plays that, look pretty familiar to plays in the past. Jake Browning delivers a dart to T. Higgins over the middle of the field. I think to start the second half, it was like the second or maybe his second pass of the second half to get us on the plus side of the field. That play was really similar to Joe Burrow making the throw against the Baltimore Ravens in week 2, kind of ran that same coverage. And it was just a couple of things that really hinted my, just going back and trying to recall some old files. And then Joe Mixon had a really good, really big play on a slip screen as well. I believe that was the second quarter, I believe. He had a slip screen that almost went for a touchdown over 6 years ago against the Indianapolis Colts, and it had a lot of similarities on that play. But the Bengals did a lot of good things in the screen game. Jake Browning looked very calm and collected even after throwing the pick 6. There was a couple of things wrong on that, but this Bengals team just looked calm, cool, collective, and they just put their foot on the neck of the Colts, and that was a really good thing to see going forward. And I'm glad Cincinnati Bengals have improved to 7-6 and a big one coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, when you look at the stats, we had over 100 yards more in total yards than they did, but you look at we both were 3 and 11 on third down conversions.
Yeah.
We have very similar stats, other than those splash plays. You get 54 yards on a screen to Chase Brown that you alluded to. You get 20 here and 30 there. 2 catches by Tay Higgins for a total of 72 yards. I'm like, we were the team that was able to stretch the field. They were not. Our defense, the back end of the defense played pretty well. We even joked around in our chat. It was a DJ Ivy sighting. I was glad to know he was still on the team.
Hey, let me mention this though. I didn't mean to cut you off, but let me mention this. There was one play where there were 3 DJs on the field.
Yep.
For the Bengals.
I like it.
Yeah, DJ Ivy, DJ Turner, DJ Reader. That was 28% of our defense was a guy named DJ. So, I mean,
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And that, to me, those splash plays and then our bend don't break, and to the best player on defense to me today was Trey Hendrickson. As far as just, even though there weren't some of the great plays, there was constant pressure. He looked like the eye test said that he was the best one on the field when the Colts were on offense. And I really that penalty he got for the late hit, ticky-tack maybe, but by the letter of the law, it's a foul.
Yep.
And if you take that out of it, I mean, we're talking about giving up less than 250 yards total offense. And probably, I mean, maybe we're not talking about a shutout, but they only got, if they wouldn't have got that first touchdown, we would have been able to have our full time to drive, and it would have changed the passing where we had that pick 6. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we're talking about giving up a touchdown instead of 2. Maybe we're talking about giving up 3 points. But whatever the case may be, I don't think we're giving up 14. So really good game by the defense in my mind. The linebackers both in double-digit tackles, running around, making plays where they're supposed to. Defensive backs, again, I think look good. Pretty happy about it. Now, again, we go to the coach's cliff notes here. We're going to talk a little bit about the I don't like to get bogged down talking about their press conferences, but we're going to cut out all the BS here, just give you what was pertinent. Obviously, they were pretty happy, pretty pleased with the way things went. But the one thing that sticks out to me that I just don't understand it from Zac Taylor, they talked about the last 2 games, and they asked, hey, you got Jake Browning in here, and you see, more of a concentration on running the ball. We finally get the ball. We're running the ball over 25 times a game now over the past 2 games. And does he say, yeah, we're definitely, regardless of who the quarterback is, we definitely have had a little bit more emphasis on making sure we run the ball? No, he doesn't. Nope. It's we calling the same plays that we've called all year. We haven't called any play that we haven't been running since camp. We're not talking about the type of play you called. How many times you called a running play? That's the difference. Now, is some of that stuff, the RPO becomes a PRO with Joe Burrow's in there? Yeah, I see that. But, if you rewind all the way back to the beginning of training camp, and Chase, you were there for some of the stuff. You saw a lot more of, in mini camp and the first day of training camp, saw a lot more of under center play action pass.
Yeah.
And then Joe Burrow hurts his calf, and that's gone. Do you see that coming back now? I mean, is that more? Do you think it's more of the offense that they went into the season expecting to run?
And I think the big thing about it is if we recall back to the 49ers game, that was exactly what that offense was trying to do from the start. Because I thought going back to that 6 weeks ago, which is crazy, it felt like it was maybe 2 years ago that game was.
Yeah.
But that was an absolute masterclass of offense that game. Running the football, play action, and a lot of fly motion. You have Jamar Chase run a fly motion in the backfield, having the defense go one way. Obviously, I think he's top 3 in the league as a receiver. But you have him in a fly motion. People are going to move with them. The run game, the box will get lighter. It's going to get opened up. Like Tim said, you could run the damn ball. And it's legit, though. When you have a guy like Chase Brown who's popping off, you got Joe Mixon who's still got tread left on the tires and everything. It's a big thing. But, yeah, I agree. I think that's what the offense has looked like and everything. They've been able to run the football. What they run it today? 32 times. In the last game, they ran it 31 times.
32 times, 29 times by running backs today.
Yeah. So, that's a big thing. And I really hope. I know Joe Burrow is, top 2, top 3 quarterback in the National Football League. I hope when we get him back, we run the football 25, 30 times a game because we already paid him the money. We know what he's worth. The entire league knows what he's worth. We've seen Patrick Mahomes under center handing the ball off to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Isaiah Pacheco and stuff. Having a great run game marries a great passing game when you have one of the top 2 quarterbacks in the National Football League. Good luck trying to stop him because if the Bengals offense is running the football like that and Joe Burrow's in play action in the gun, whatever, it's incredible. It's incredible what could happen with that.
Yeah, and by running the ball that way doesn't mean that you're now giving up on the pass. Look at what we've done the past 2 games in passing. We've had 274 yards and 354 yards.
Exactly.
I think we're all pounding the drum for this to be the offense regardless of who's playing quarterback for us. What are your thoughts on it?
It's proven that, Jake Browning, he likes to play under center. He likes the play action. They were saying something about it during the game. They were like, they're doing this because Jake likes to do the play action. Jake's always been a play action kind of guy. He recognizes and he's getting smarter out there of, is it going to be a play action or is he going to hand the ball off to Chase or Mixon? It's going to, like you've said over and over in many other shows, and we've all said it, running the damn football is going to open up passes for us, play actions, over the top passes. It's going to happen. If we don't stick to the run game, at least running the ball 25 to 30 times a game, regardless of who the quarterback is, if it's Joe Burrow or Jake the Snake Browning, it don't matter. We still need to mix in the run game. The run game is going to open up so much more. Look at today. Today, how many times was Jake Browning sacked?
0.
So guess what happened? You know what? Like I said on Wednesday on our preview to this show, what my biggest worry is how many times was Jake going to get sacked this week? Because the Colts were 2nd in the league in sacks. I was afraid of that. Well, guess what? You mixed up the playing. You gave different looks. You ran the damn ball. You did play actions. Jake didn't get sacked anytime.
Mic drop.
Chase, in case you're not seeing what's going on here, if you're on YouTube, you get back. You gotta keep track of how many times Tim says run the damn ball because we try to limit it. He likes to say a lot.
Hey man, he's speaking facts. So I'm not. You feel me? You
ain't wrong.
I'm a running back guy, and that's just the way it is.
Yep.
Like Brandon and I have said in the past, I would rather see a 30-yard run than see a 60-yard pass.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Listen, a lot to your point too. A lot to your point when you talk about keeping them off balance so they don't pin their ears back and don't win. There was a play where the left end went wide 9 technique. For those of you that may not know, listen to this. Wide 9 just means that instead of being lined up 1, 2, 3, 4, you go far outside trying to create leverage to edge rush on that tackle. So they're coming at our right tackle with a wide 9 look, and we audibled to a run directly at that, where you put a foot in the ground and stick inside that tackle. And it's a beautiful thing. I think it was about 6-7 yard play. It wasn't a game breaker by any means, but what did it do? Wide 9 went away.
Yep.
I didn't see it again the rest of the game.
Nope.
Those are the things to me, like take advantage of. You play in a Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, all these guys we play against every week. It seems like we're playing against a monster edge rusher. You have to keep them, like, I'm not saying on their heels, but keep them honest. Like, keep them on the balls of their feet instead of their toes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. But, it's been obvious. It's been the pitcher all year long. We've been playing against Myles Garrett, TJ Watt. Next week we got Hunter. If we keep them honest and we keep them on their toes, they're not going to be, a perfect example is when Joe Burrow went down against the Ravens game. The Ravens were playing a totally different football game when Burrow was in there. But as soon as Jake Browning came in and Zac Taylor thought it was a good idea to still throw the football like he was Joe Burrow, we saw the rabid dogs come out. So, of course, we got to mix it up. That's the fundamentals of football. You can't just pass, or run. Well, if you're the Michigan Wolverines, you can run the ball 32 times and win the football game still. But that's besides the point. But it's the fundamentals of football. That's just my point.
And our defense looked much better this week.
Yeah.
Our defense looked pretty good last week, but looked much better this week.
Hell yeah.
What did we do time possession-wise? We possessed the ball 4 more minutes than the opposition. You know what I mean? Like, all this thing's connected. You talk about the connections. The connection to that one play from Hendrickson hitting the passer late leads to them getting extended drive there, getting 7 points, which doesn't leave us with enough time to run our normal offense. So then you see a bad pass, which Jake Browning said I should have hit him in his press conference, said I should have hit him in the chest.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was coming inside. He was probably right to stay where he was. I should have hit him in the chest. That's on me. I love that. Love that from your quarterback, man. Yeah. Everything that he's done, everything that he's said so far, I mean, the maturity level is definitely there. He takes accountability for his own actions. The other thing that I really loved about the press conference was they asked Zac Taylor, said, were you surprised of, how fast Chase Brown is? He said, no. He goes, we have GPS tracking on these guys. We have all that kind of stuff for practice. Like, we know he's fast. And he goes, yeah, but did you know he got clocked over 22 mile an hour, the second fastest time in the league this year? And he goes, oh, really?
Need for speed, man.
That's fast. Yeah, it's huge for those splash plays. You know what I mean? It's nice to see him healthy and out there getting some time with those first stringers. So.
Yeah, and you hit it on the head on Wednesday. We need to give Chase Brown the ball on those sweeps and those outside runs because even on those screens, man, he is just bam. He's like a cannon cannonball being shot out of a cannon, just bam.
Yeah, it's more his game. That stretch run and that wide zone run is more his game than Mixon. Mixon wants to be a little bit deeper, almost like Henry does, like King Henry does. You know what I mean? Like he wants to be another yard or two back and wants to explode at the line of scrimmage. Where I feel like there's a little more patience to Brown. And then once he sees the hole, he's got that quickness that he can just take off. It's a good call by you.
It's a great balance, though. Think about it. I mean, you got Mixon again being that inside guy. You can run power with him. You could run some trap inside, and like you mentioned, the outside zone, getting Chase Brown in space. Mixon doesn't have that burst anymore on the outside, which is completely fine. That's fine. That's why I got Chase Brown to do it. That's why I got a 1-2 punch and. Mixon running the ball 21 times, Chase Brown getting around 8 to 10 touches, rushing the football, a couple passes. I mean, It's huge. And
yeah, and we saw them come, both of them in the backfield a couple times.
Yeah, exactly. They ran that fullback thing where Mixon lined up with his 3-point stance and got the football.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but that's been big though. Just having both of those guys be fresh at the same time is huge going forward.
Yeah, and I do like the idea of those two guys flanked on whether it be a full shotgun snap or sugar, whatever it might be, where you don't know if you're going to get that wham in the center, you're going to get a stretch play there, or we saw him do. I've seen him do 2 screens set up, one on each side.
Yeah,
and sooner or later, if we keep doing things like that, we're going to get one high safety, and that's it. That's your shot.
There you go.
Who do you have? Who's man on man right now? Is it Chase? Is it Higgins? It doesn't matter. Throw it to one of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, we got into that. We're going to get into a little bit more of our offensive and defensive game balls, break down some more of the numbers here, and quick comments on next week as well. But right now, we're going to pay some bills. If you are on Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever you get your podcasts, take a quick second. Give us that subscription. Give us that 5-star review. Share us with a friend. All of you watching on YouTube, again, hit that thumbs up. Share us with a friend. Tell your friends to share it with a friend. We appreciate you. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Roaring Reactions and Coach's Cliff Notes. We're done talking about Coach Speak, which is music to my ears. It's one of the things that I do that I can't stand. Hey, but look, the past 2 times they've been in Cincinnati, I've actually been able to hear what they say. So I can't always hear the question very well, but at least I can hear the answer now. For a while this year, it was pretty terrible. I was liking away games more than I was home.
Hey, they must have listened to you, B-Dirt. Maybe they did.
Somebody should.
Early Christmas present, man.
So, Chase, you weren't on because you're a busy student. University of Cincinnati's got you doing too much. But now you're on break a little bit. Maybe we'll see a little bit more of you over here. Maybe we'll get some of your game ball predictions.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
But I do want to know, you didn't get to predict them, but who would you give your offensive and defensive game balls to today and why?
Well, I'll save. I'm not going to do one person. I'm going to do the offensive line because we mentioned them earlier. 0 sacks, not many pressures given up. They paved the way for an 100-yard, rushing game on the ground. Jake Browning at time. He threw for 275. And where do you win games at? In the trenches. As simple as that. I think the guys up front, Orlando Brown, Jonah Williams on the outside of tackles, they did a fantastic job. And then the core group of Volson, Karras, and Kappa did their thing inside. I just think it was an absolutely flawless performance by the offensive line. No game's perfect, but it was near flawless. And I think those guys deserve a game ball. All of them deserve game balls.
I like it. I do. I like it a lot. On the defensive side of the ball, who are you giving it to?
Defensively, Trey Hendrickson. So he's at 13.5 sacks on the season, which is somewhere up there in the top 5 or so. I mean, wow. I just keep recalling back to March of 2021 when Carl Lawson left in free agency. And we're like, dang, man, Carl Lawson's gone. And, we signed Trey. So we're like, Trey Hendrickson, though? He's fine, but, maybe he's not all that. He got a lot of coverage sacks and Cam Jordan was on the other side and stuff. But, man, oh, man, Trey Hendrickson, 14 sacks in 2021, 8 sacks last year, and he's well on pace to break his 14 sacks in 2021. He's at 13.5 right now in 13 games. He's been awesome this year. And the part about his game that I really love is his motor and his ability to get that bend. When he's going around the left tackle, his bend and motor, that combination, and I'm not just saying this because we're Bengals fans and we're critical of this team, it's one of the best in the National Football League.
I agree with you. And I do understand why you get excited about it. But what I get excited about, the first snap of the game, what does he do? through your chest.
That might have been the most dominant pass rush rep I've seen Trey Hendrickson have in his Bengals career. That was
right
to start the game. Unbelievable. Made the man sit down on the couch. Hey, you're watching the game now with us, buddy.
It's going to be a long day. That's exactly what he said to him. I guarantee it. It's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day.
Damn straight.
So I'll go over here. Tim, we're going to go to your offensive and defensive game balls, and I think I got one of these right, and I think you got one of them right, but I'll let you tell it.
So, since we were just talking about Trey Hendrickson, I'm going to go with the defensive game ball. It's Trey Hendrickson. He was causing havoc all game long. At that very first snap of the game when he came in there and wrecked Minshew, number 79, I think it's what it was, the left tackle. He was having problems with him all game long. He even got called for a tripping penalty. It was, it was going to be
on another bull rush.
Oh yeah. Trey Hendrickson. I remember when he was with the Saints. I have a good buddy of mine who's a big Saints fan, and he was like, "You guys got a hell of a defensive end in Trey Hendrickson." I was like, "Yeah, I know." And I'm sorry that the Saints, lost him, but welcome to Cincinnati, and he's been proving it every single year. So yes, Trey Hendrickson deserves it, 100%. I don't. If these 2 sacks that he had today was the only 2 sacks he had in the forced fumble or the forced interception, I don't care. Trey Hendrickson's still getting my defensive game ball. Now, when it comes to the offensive game ball, they had 111 yards rushing today. I'm sorry, I take that back. They had 104 yards rushing today. They had 126 receiving yards today. 2 touchdowns. I'm not giving it to Mixon. I'm not giving it to Brown. I'm giving it to Mixon and Brown because they both deserve the offensive game ball. Those guys played well. They did what they needed to do. It was a hell of a game for them. I was excited for them, even on the little dump screen passes, and I was like, "Oh no, okay, all right." There's 25 yards. There's I think it was like a 45 yarder by Mixon one time, and then Chase had what the hell was that?
Was it like a 58 touchdown or 54-yard touchdown? I think
54-yard. Yeah, he had the 54-yard touchdown, and the Mixon had the 45-yard screen. So yes, I'm giving it to the running backs, and as Brandon's following suit.
Thank you.
I already had it written down. Running back room.
Amen.
We had Brown had 105 total yards through the air and the ground and a touchdown, and we had Mixon 125 yards total ground and air and a touchdown.
Yep.
I don't know where you can go anywhere else. Mm-mm. And Hendrickson, I picked to be the defensive player of the game. And Tim, you picked Joe Mixon to be the offensive. And if you had to, gun to your head, had to give it to one person, I think that's who you probably give it to. I would give Browning honorable mention here. 275, 2 tutties, and a rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean,
other than the pick, and you could say one way or another, but he was great today.
Yeah, and what else could you want from your backup?
How much more?
I didn't see this coming out of I'll say it again. I said it last week. I didn't see this coming out of training camp or preseason or anything else. But he said it's really cool playing with the ones. They're open when they're supposed to be open. I'll give it to him. But Hendrickson, I did predict 2 sacks and a forced fumble.
Your head's getting even bigger as you're
forced
talking.
Interception instead of a forced fumble.
Hey, we got to check your place, man. You got the script with you?
And no, I don't, man. They wouldn't give me that kind of stuff because I would squeal on everybody. But but on top of that, there was a couple of forced penalties. There were multiple, rushes where he forced Minshew to throw it away or get rid of the ball when he didn't want to, causing inaccurate throws. Man, I just thought I thought Hendrickson was the baddest man on the field when the Colts were on offense, including their entire offensive team.
Mm-hmm.
defensive, also rush defense. I mean,
yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, we gotta stress that, man. I mean, we've been one of the worst rush defenses for a long time. I mean, over the last 5 years or so. That's one of the things under Lou Anarumo's defense that's been tough playing. 4-2-5 and Mike Hilton, being that nickel corner and everything, putting him on, a bit of an island. But I mean, when the run defense, is able to step up and have a game like that against a team that runs football really well. You've seen it against the Niners. You've seen it against the Colts back then a couple times. Last year you saw it against the Browns. When the Bengals stopped the run, I mean, that's a rough team to beat.
Yeah. Yeah. He had Zach Moss had 13 runs for 28 yards, average 2.2.
I mean, damn.
Also started on one of my fantasy football teams. That's another story.
Sorry, boy.
I was rooting against him the whole game.
Hey, man, I feel I want my team to win.
I want my team to win first and my 100%. Fantasy team second.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah,
that's right. So here we are. This is something that we spoke about on Run Through the Jungle. We just beat the Colts with their backup, playing the Vikings with whoever they decide to play it back up. Then we go to the Steelers, probably not getting Pickett back until the following week. Then we have the Chiefs, then we have the Browns with the backup. So we've only got one starting quarterback left.
And happens to be the best in the league. But hey,
it has not been playing like it this year.
There you go. Opportunity.
And it's going to be an interesting, would I be shocked if we won any of these games? No. Do I expect to win all of these games? No. I mean, you have a backup quarterback. You expect to stub your toe at some point in time. That's just kind of the nature of the beast. But it's playing out a lot like what I wanted us to do. I wanted to see us have, gut check time. I wanted to see us evaluate some talent, get some young guys out there, and let's see what we got when our guys are down. Rally the troops, and then look at it when Joe Burrow comes back and say, if we did that all the time with him here, what would it look like? And I'm talking about Zac Taylor. I'm talking about everybody on the offense, the defense, all the above. So, Tim, going into the Vikings, we do know that they've got a great pass rusher in Hunter. We do know that they've struggled on offense. And we do know at halftime, when we started recording this, it was 0-0 with the Raiders out in Las Vegas. What's your quick glimpse on the Vikings? Don't give away too much because they gotta come check us out on Cut to the Chase on Tuesday night. Goes live Wednesday morning for your podcast audio, and then on Wednesday evening you're gonna catch Run It Through the Jungle. It'll be up Thursday morning for your podcast listening. But give them a glimpse.
My glimpse right now is Minnesota's looking off. It's 0-0 still with 11 minutes left in the game. Unfortunately for Justin Jefferson, he was rushed to the hospital because of something wrong with his chest.
Damn.
Josh Dobbs, he can look like MVP 1 minute. He can look like the backup to the backup of the team. I'm not right as of right now. My expectations for the Vikings is not very high. I'm hoping the Bengals go in there and get a W. And unlike Brandon, I'm going to say this. It's a hot take, whatever the hell you guys want to call it. I just have this feeling that the Bengals are going to beat. I'm not going to say the remaining of the schedule, but possibly we'll lose one game of the rest of the season. I know I'm like going off of this.
It's pretty toasty.
This Jake the Snake, outing right now. He's playing great ball. The offense is looking great. We played great defense today. We have the Vikings left. Then what? The Steelers, the Chiefs, and then the Browns. We're all playing backups besides Patrick Mahomes. But then there's a problem with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. they're having some problems. I don't know if it's a locker room problem or identity problem, or I believe it's their offensive line problem is what's causing Mahomes the biggest issue. He's not sitting in the pocket long enough. But anyways, I'm hoping that the Bengals keep pushing on, take one game at a time, and keep impressing and putting those downers to rest.
Yeah, the old Pasternak, as we're recording right now, is 10 for 23.
Wow.
60 yards.
And 5 sacks.
Dang.
No bueno. Chase, again, save the good stuff for cut to the chase. But what are you looking like? What are your thoughts and feelings going into this next game and the remainder of the season?
Well, I think for this next game against the Vikings, I think it's really just a lot of wash, rinse, repeat. Run the football well, have an emphasis of, trying to take Danielle Hunter a bit out of this game plan. Very simple stuff. Get Jamar Chase the football a bit more. It's going to be a big thing going into this one. Defensively, stop the run, make Josh Dobbs drop back a lot of times and throw the football. This is actually going to be the second time Josh Dobbs has played against us this year, and he's not in the AFC. 2 NFC teams. That's very odd to look about, but
doesn't happen all the time.
Doesn't happen all the time, I'll tell you that. But yeah, I mean, this is it's a really, really unique game when you're looking at it. It's a 1:00 Saturday game, NFL Network. I'm really excited for it. I might end up going to this game. Not too sure. I'll keep you guys posted on it. But yeah, I think the Bengals need to do a lot of wash, rinse, repeat. They're playing against a guy in Kevin O'Connell who comes from the same tree as Zac Taylor does in that Sean McVay system. So we're just gonna have to take a look at it. Again, I'll say it once more. You wash your hands after you use the bathroom. Wash, rinse, repeat. That's all I got to say. But looking forward, I said it 3 times in that time frame. Looking forward, though, I think the Bengals' magic number is 10. I think we have to go 3-1 down the stretch to make it to the playoffs at 10-7. A lot of these teams, like the Texans, still play the Colts, and those 2 teams are battling right now. In week 18, actually, they're going to battle each other in that, their division. The Broncos at the moment are winning their game pretty handily. They got the Lions down the stretch. They got a couple of teams that, are going to be some tough matches coming up. We play the Steelers and the Browns down the stretch. We have to go ahead and beat those guys. But I just think the Bengals have to get to 10-7, and there's a chance that the Bengals might not even be a 7 seed if they get to 10-7. They might end up being a 6 or maybe even a 5 at that point. So it's going to be interesting to look at. But again, I'm not looking ahead, too far ahead. I want to beat the Vikings because I want the Pittsburgh Steelers on a silver platter, 4:30 NBC. The Sunday Night Football music's going to be blaring on a Saturday afternoon. Again, my friend Noah Eagles calling the game for NBC. I'm ready.
Yeah, that's a game to
that's in your backyard too, bro.
For those of you guys that don't know, I do a podcast on the Steel Curtain Network as well, where we do an AFC North roundtable. It's called the Homies, and it's been an interesting couple weeks, to say the least. They were riding pretty high when they got over 400 yards against us last time, and I don't know, like again. We're running the ball instead of throwing it so many times. I feel like we could have a different outcome there. I'd really like to get that one. When you look at the playoff, like I have tempered expectations.
Yes.
That said, we do own our destiny here, right?
We do.
The New York Jets had Zach Wilson go out and throw for over 300 yards a day and out-duel C.J. Stroud, the Texans. Now C.J. Stroud's in concussion protocol.
Yeah.
So, they dropped. We play the Browns. We play the Steelers. We have the tiebreaker with the Bills. Like, there's a lot out here that leads us to, hey, if we take care of business, if Tim's right and we go 3-1, we waltz in. It's just it's where it's at right now. And also, Chase, I don't want you to lose side of this. When the Bengals were 1-3, our over/under on DraftKings fell to 9.5 wins, and boy, did I ride it hard. So you're right. 10 is the magic number. 10 is the magic number.
Hey, I hope your bank account hits, man, on Christmas, man. You need a little, you feel me? You need a little Christmas present.
Hey, man, when Burrow went down, I was like, well, there goes that money.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? It's still out there at play right now.
Up in the air now.
So, but yeah, I think we're a much more jovial bunch than we expected to be at this point in time after Joe Burrow did go down. The surgery went well. Let's not lose sight of that. And I love seeing him out there. I love seeing Joe Burrow on the sidelines going over stuff with Jake Browning, and then Jake Browning in his press conference. They said, yeah, your family got a lot of publicity today, showing them in the box, and he goes, oh, that's not my box. I can't afford to buy a box at the beginning of the year. He was like, Joe Burrow gave me tickets to his box.
That's awesome.
And my family got to go there. I love that kind of leadership. I love that kind of stuff. Joe Burrow's the real deal in my mind, and I'm glad that Jake Browning's kind of taking that torch and playing well.
Happy birthday to Joe Burrow too, man. 27.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Older than the previous league MVP, Lamar Jackson. I find that funny, but who's been in the league for, it seems like ever.
Yeah.
But hey, we got another dub. Chase, thanks for popping in, man. Appreciate you. Enjoy your winter break. I think we'll be seeing a little bit more from you for the next couple of weeks.
Most definitely.
We'll be out here, doing our thing. I have noticed with the roaring reactions and all this kind of stuff that when we have it go on pause because late night games and things like that our numbers just aren't quite there like they normally are. So guess what? The fans have spoken. You want us right after the game? I might be in pajamas, but I'm going to be here right after the game. It's just the way it is now.
Yeah, Tim got that West Coast, man. You feel me?
Yeah,
Tim got a nice over there.
Tim might be doing it with a half asleep sidekick, but we'll be doing it. We'll be doing it. So, hey, for Tim, Chase, myself, we appreciate you jumping on here for the roaring reactions. Join us next week as we are running through the jungle.